Go.
Good evening, everyone. We are to report the fundamentals of curriculum designing, the lesson 1, together with Ma'am Marites. Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Energetic na?
Yes. Ace, Delabines, can you read?
Contents of this verse. Here's what you'll find in our template. 1. Building on Peter Olivia's 10 actions po ba yan? Actions for curriculum design. 2 elements or components of curriculum design. First, behavioral objectives or intended learning outcomes. Next, content subject matter. Third, preferences. Fourth, teaching and learning methods. 5, assessment or evaluation. And last, application of the fundamental components to other curriculum design.
Yun yung content ng aming report. So, next is the building on the Peter Olivia's 10 actions for curriculum design. Wait,
Ma'am Miguel.
Building on Peter Olivia's 10 actions for curriculum design. Before teacher designs a curriculum class, listen. Before a teacher designs a curriculum, it would be a great importance to connect the fundamental concepts and ideas about the curriculum mentioned in Module 1 and 2. Every curriculum designer, implementer, or evaluator should take in mind the following actions as guide in curriculum development, Olivia 2003. And I thank you. Thank you, ma'am. This passage is emphasizing the importance of the curriculum design fundamental. The word
Actions.
is the first principle of that are generally accepted. So the authors of Olivia is suggesting that anyone involved in the designing, implementing, or evaluating a curriculum should always keep these guiding principles in mind. So next, Janine, can you read?
Curriculum changes
Inevitable.
necessary and research. Earlier, it was stated that one of the characteristics of curriculum is being dynamic. Because of this, teachers should respond to the changes. Yes, but in school, every it's constant. Societal development and knowledge revolution comes so that the need to address and the condition requires a new curriculum.
So yung example dito is dahil sa pandemya or pandemic at paglipat sa online learning or online class, maaaring kailanganin ng mga paaralan na baguhin ang kanilang curriculum para sa maging epektibo ang pagtuturo sa bagong setup. At ito ay maaaring mag-iba depende sa mga pangangailangan ng mga estudyante, mga bagong teknolohiya at mga pagbabago sa lipunan. Kaya ang pagbabago ng curriculum ay hindi lamang kinakailangan. Ito rin ay kaaya-aya dahil ito ay nagbibigyan daan para sa epektibong pagtuturo. Next one, Cyril.
Relevant curriculum should respond to changes brought about the core social force. Philosophical decisions and psychological new knowledge and professional. It is also called tendency.
So, example po dito, sa panahon ngayon, malaki ang papel ng teknolohiya sa ating buhay. At kaya ng isang relevant na curriculum ay dapat magturo ng mga
because the teachers are the implementers of the curriculum. It is best that should design and own the changes. This will ensure an effective and long-lasting change.
Number 5, can you read again?
Number 5, curriculum development is a cooperative group activity. Group decision in some aspect of curriculum development are suggested. Consultations with stakeholders when possible will add to a sense of ownership. Even learners should participate in some aspect of curriculum designing, and significant change in the curriculum should involve a broad range of stakeholders to gain their understanding, support, and input.
So, yung example ko dito ay, kung yung isang school ay nagplano na baguhin ang kanilang curriculum, ay dapat silang kumonsulta sa mga guro, sa mga mag-aaral o magulang at iba pang mga stakeholders. Maaari silang magtawag ng mga meeting para pag-usapan ng mga potensyal na benepisyo at drawbacks. Magpadala ng mga survey para makakuha ng input at siguraduhin na lahat ay nauunawaan kung bakit ginawa ang pagbabago. Ito ay maaaring magtulad ng mga matagumpay sa implementasyon ng bagong kurso at mas malaking kasiyahan sa lahat ng stakeholders. Next po, number 6. Larissa.
Number 6, curriculum development is a decision-making process made from choices of alternatives. A curriculum developer or designer must decide what contents to teach, philosophy, or point of views to support, how to provide for multicultural groups, what methods or strategies, and what type of evaluation to use.
Number 7. Sophie. Can you read more?
Curriculum development is an ongoing process. Continuous monitoring, examination, evaluation, and improvement of curricula are to be considered in the design of the curriculum. As the needs of learners change, as society changes, and as new knowledge and technology appear, the curriculum must change.
Okay, thank you.
Naghanap ng props
So, yung
ng...
example dito, sa panahon ngayon, malaki ang papel ng teknolohiya o technology sa ating buhay, no? Kaya ang isang relevant na curriculum ay dapat magturo sa mga kasanayan at technology sa mga estudyante. So, next po is Bill.
A curriculum design should be based on a careful plan, clearly establish intended outcomes, support resources and needed time available, and should equip teaching staff with pedagogy.
So, yung example ko dito ay, kung ang isang school ay nagpaplano o nagplan ng baguhin ng kanilang curriculum para mas maging relevant ito sa mga estudyante. Dapat kasama ng mga guro o sa prosesong iyon at sila ang may alam kung ano ang epektibo sa kanilang mga estudyante at kung ano ang mga pangangailangan ng mga guro. Kung sila ang magdidesisyon at magpapatupad ng mga pagbabago or yung change na po ay mas malaki ang chance na magiging matagumpay ang pagbabago ng isang curriculum. So, next po, number 9, Patricia Basilio.
Curriculum development is more effective when it follows a systematic process. A curriculum design is composed of desired outcomes, subject matter, content complemented with reference, set of procedures, needed material and resources, and evaluation procedure, which can be placed in a matrix.
Pag sinabi pong desired outcomes, ito ang mga layunin ng mga goals na gusto nating maabot ng curriculum. Halimbawa, ang isang desired outcomes ay maaari ang pagpapaunlad ng malalalim na pangunawa sa mga konsepto or concept ng matematika o ang kakayahang magsulat ng maayos ng salaysay. At yung subject matter naman po, subject matter content, complemented reference. Ito ang mga tiyak na paksa o mga tiyak na
paksa o mga lugar na kaalaman at sasaklawin ng curriculum sa kasama yung mga yung mga reference o yung mga resources na gagamitin. So, number 10 po, Janine.
Curriculum development starts from where the curriculum planner and designer should be determined with the curriculum and assessing design.
Thank you, Janine. So, yung example dito ay kung ikaw ay isang teacher ng science at gusto mong gawing mag-engaging ang iyong mga class, ay yung klase mo ay hindi mo kailangan simulan mula sa simula. Maaari kang magsimula sa kasalukuyang curriculum na ginamit mo at tingnan kung saan mo maaari magpapuli. Next po is
Number 1.
You.
C. Building upon the ideas of Olivia, let us continue learning how to develop a curriculum by identifying its components. For most curricula, the major component of elements are answered to the following question. Number 1. What learning outcomes need to be achieved intended learning outcomes?
Yeah.
number 2. Yes. Ace.
What content should be included to achieve the learning matter? I think the subject matter.
Number 3. Ray.
Yan?
Number 3 daw ay
What learning experiences and resources should be employed in learning methods?
So, in number 4, how will that fit the learning outcomes be measured? So, yung assessment are achieve learning outcome. So, next point, now we proceed to the elements of the component of the curriculum design. Can you read po?
There are many titles or names for curriculum design. Some would call it syllabus or lesson plan. Some would call it a unit plan or a course design. Whatever is the name of this design, the common components for all depths are all same. However, some
Attendance.
departments may add other designers parts of streaming to the list. So,
Hindi, Sir Jojo.
Tulad na lang ng objectives or yung outcomes, there are the goals that the curriculum aims to achieve. So, yun yung kailangan natin ma-achieve. And the content, kung ano yung laman ng lesson ng teacher. And the methodology strategies and the materials and resources. That last one component is the assessment.
Ma'am.
So, let us take the lesson plan. Curriculum, a lesson plan or teaching guide includes. So, the number 1, can you read po?
intended learning outcomes or the desired learning outcomes labeled as behavioral objectives. Number 2, subject matter or content. Number 3, teaching and learning methods. And then 4, assessment evaluation. Each of these components of elements is visually below.
So, number 1 is the behavioral objectives or the intended learning outcomes. So, begin with the end of view, the objective or the intended learning outcome by the reason for undertaking. So, yung dito po yung objectives or yung outcome, ito po yung gustong at the end of the lesson, the teacher, yung gusto niyang ma-achieve na matutunan ng mga student niya.
Thank you.
Me.
Ma'am.
example, rather than stating students will be able to explain the reason why, it should be student must have explained the reason why. This helps students to focus on what they have to achieve as learning. It will also help curricularists devise appropriate assessment tasks.
So, number 2, can you read? Read.
Subject matter. Include different types of outcomes. The most common are cognitive objectives, learning facts, theories, formulae, principles, etc. And performance outcomes, learning how to carry out procedures, calculations, and processes, which typically include gathering information and communicating results. In some contexts, affective outcomes are important too for developing attitudes or attitudes given those required as a person in the particular.
So, yun yung gusto ko iparating na example kung ano yung gusto niyang matutunan ng mga student. So, the next one is the content or the subject matter will be discussed by Mama.
So now we go to part of content, subject matter. Can you read it, please?
The content of the lesson or unit is the topic or subject matter that will be covered. In selecting content, you should bear in mind the following principles in addition to those mentioned about the content in previous lessons. Number 1, subject matter should be relevant to the outcome of the curriculum. An effective curriculum is purposive and clearly focused on the planned learning outcome. Number 2, subject matter should be appropriate to the level of the lesson or unit. An effective curriculum is progressive, leading students towards building on previous lessons. Contents which are too basic or too advanced to the development levels of learners make students either bored or baffled. And affect their motivation to learn. And third, subject matter should be up to date and if possible, should reflect current knowledge and concepts.
So, being subject matter, dito natin kukunin kung ano pa yung ituturo natin sa mga bata. Ito yung content kung ano yung lesson natin or yung magiging discussion during sa isang klase. Okay, next. Ito yung part ng
Lesson.
lesson plan or tinatawag siya curriculum
Design.
At Canilao. Next, we go to the references.
References follow.
Mga tanong
Follow
na.
the content itself where the contents or subject matter are listed here. The reference reading book or a module or any publication. It must be of the material if possible. The publication, some examples are given here.
Okay. So, I will give the example. So now, we will have first example project file, 1992 K-12 ang favorite guide. So, ito yung naging reference. Dito na kinuha yung reference ng subject matter o yung content na. So, it means kung kukuha ka ng isang reference or link or even citation, di ba sa iba citation ang ginagamit nila? Pag kukuha ka ng isang book, na gagamitin mo, kailangan yung new edition lagi. Huwag kukuha lang yung mga late edition kasi kailangan din po sa isang lesson is nagpo-progress. Or ginagawa natin yung, kasi 21st century na tayo ngayon. So, kailangan tayo yung latest yung ginagamit nyo, references. Okay?
Yes.
Pag gagamitin po yung reference na yun, kukunin natin, no? Kunwari, 1992 to, nilabas. So, may bagong edition, naging 2024. Ano kukunin natin?
2024.
Very good. Okay. Next. Magiging siya kilala.
Pagbuot.
Teaching and learning methods. These are the activities where the learners interact with experiences. So, it always goes to keep in mind the teaching strategies that students will experience. Examples, lectures, laboratory classes, fieldworks, etc. and make them learn. The teaching learning method should allow cooperation, competition, as well as individualism or independent learning among the students. For example, cooperative learning activities allow students to work together. Students are guided to learn on their own to find solutions to their problems. The role of the teachers is to guide the learners. Democratic process is encouraged, and each one contributes to the success of learning. Students learn from each other in many ways. Group projects and activities considerably enhance the curriculum.
So we have the first one, cooperative learning. In teaching and learning methods, kailangan daw natin ng cooperation. Bakit? Kasi once na yung bata is nakikipag-cooperate sa mga group niya o sa mga kaklase niya, mas may natututunan. Tama ba ako?
Yes, ma'am.
Exchange?
Nice. Wow.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
So, sinabi mo.
So second, independent learning activities allow learners to develop personal responsibility. The degree of independence to learn, how to learn, to enhance. This strategy is more appropriate for fast learners.
So, independent learning activities allow learners to develop personal responsibility. Ano ba ibig sabihin nun? So, pag sinabing independent learning, ikaw mag-isa or isang student, kailangan marunong siya gumawa ng sarili niyang activity. Or naiintindihan niya kung ano yung mga lessons na natatakal nila. Next?
Yes, po.
Naiintindihan mo?
Yes!
Bakit kailangan fast learner? Ang bata, para maging independent learning activities, ano ba yung independent learning siya? Sige nga, Ray.
Kaya po lang sinabi ninyo, in terms of independent learning, mag-isa lang po siya. So, wala siyang matatanungan if relies on his or her own knowledge or mind.
Aha po. So, kung sa isang araw, may isang subject, then you have only 55 minutes, ano ba kailangan mo? Kasi kailangan mo mag-isip ng mabilis.
Yes.
Para magawa mo yung activity yung araw na rin yun. Kasi magbabasa ka agad. Hindi pupuso yung bukas na lang. Okay? Okay na rin sa muna.
Teaching and learning methods. Number 3, competitive activities where students who test their competencies against in a healthy manner allow learners to perform to their maximum. Most successful individuals in their adult life are competitive, even to early schooling. They mostly become the survivors in a very competitive world.
Okay. So, sa competitive activities naman, for example, sa klase natin magkakaroon tayo ng quiz B. So, si Team 1 at saka si Team 2. Group 1, Group 2. So, ano pa yung iba natin pwedeng gamitin na games para sa mga bata? Sa strategy. Pinoy Henyo.
Yes.
Di ba? Salvador. So, doon, mag-challenge yung bata na mag-isip. Then, tapos, sa activity naman to, kailangan daw ng competencies, pero in a healthy manner. Kasi kung negative manner po siya, totally pa nung rin students ulit. Naintindihan mo rin? Kailangan na-handle mo sila.
Yes.
Kaya may classroom management pa rin.
Yes.
Okay, number 4.
Kaisa.
Ay, bigyan takal mo. Ang management.
Teaching and learning methods. Number 4. The use of various delivery models to provide learning experiences is implemented. Online learning and similar modes are increasingly important in many curricula, but these need to be planned carefully to be effective.
So the use of various delivery modes to provide learning experiences is recommended. Paano ba to? So dati di ba nagkaroon tayo ng COVID? Ano ang ginawa ng Department of Education natin para mairaos or pwede natin sabihin na maituloy pa rin yung pag-aaral ng mga bata.
Online class.
Online classes? Yeah, tama po yun. So yun yung, sabi dito, kailangan daw pa rin maging careful. Kung magiging effective ba yung magiging way or yung magiging madadagdag kung sa curriculum na ginagawa nila. Naintindihan po ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, explain naman po.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir Francis.
Next. So, assessment and evaluation
Cyro.
na po tayo. O si Sir Francis muna. O tumagtang po within our practice.
Learning occurs most effectively when students receive feedback. When they receive information they have already or have not learned the process by which this information is generated and assessment, it has to be in importance.
Cyro, number 1 po, pangpasa. And explain na rin.
Self-assessment, through which students learn to monitor and evaluate their own learning. This should be a significant element in the curriculum because we aim to reproduce guidelines for appropriately reflected as a curriculum. Dito po, parang yung mga students mismo yung nag-assess sa sarili nila. Wherein dito, kailangan is yung mga students is matuto sila to be reflective and self-aware.
Tama po yun, eh. Kasi pagka self-assessment, kailangan alam mo kung hanggang saan yung kaya mo. Diba? Kasi kailangan mo i-assess ang sarili mo na maging isa kang reflective and self-critical or maging responsable estudyante para pumasa. Tama rin?
Yes.
O, Yula.
Peer assessment in which students provide feedback on each other's learning. This can be viewed as an extension of self-assessment and presupposes trust and mutual respect. Research suggests that students can learn to judge each other's work as reliability as staff.
So, sa peer assessment, student to student, yung pagbibigay ng feedback. Kung ikaw, kunwari Ray, gumawa tayo ng performance task, ang masasabi mo is, ano ba yun, tired siya or hindi siya masyadong sumasali sa mga ginagawa, pero si Danica, lagi siyang present, tapos nagkaroon tayo ng same grade, ano ba yun, fair or unfair? Fair! So, yun yung magiging feedback mo. Kasi, syempre, pag in-assess mo yung klase mo, in-assess mo yung isa, at isa one by one, or each other, nag-assess kayo, malalaman mo kung hanggang saan kayo kaya ng kaklase mo, di ba?
Yes.
So, for number 3, Miss Sophia, can you read and explain it well?
Teacher assessment in which the teacher prepares and administers tests and gives feedback on the student's performance. Assessment may be formative, providing feedback to help the student learn more, or summative, expressing a judgment on the student's achievement by reference to stated criteria. Many assessment tasks involve an element or both, an assignment that is marked and returned to the students with detailed comments. We are very familiar with this, ma'am. Kung ano po yung ginagawa ng teacher mismo, kagaya ng mga na-discuss natin ni Sir Jojo, yung mga performance-oriented assessment, yung mga project-based, yan, ma'am. Yung mga kailangan ng criterias.
Yes, tama po yung sinabi ni Sophie. So, dito yung teacher yung mag-a-assess sa student kung papasa ba or babagsak.
Yes.
Pero pag nagbigay po kayo ng assessment nyo, or yung judgment nyo, or feedback nyo sa bata, kailangan kompleto details.
Yes.
Then, kunwari may paso yung sabi ko na may paso. Bigsak may, hindi palaro pa sabi nyo lang. Sino kawawa?
Student.
Siyempre, yung teacher kasi matatagal na license. So, be careful sa mga magbibigay ng grades kung magtuturo na kayo.
Yes.
Kasi maraming ganyan na cases.
Dapat meron.
So, number 4, saan po?
Liza.
Liza.
Summative assessment usually involves the allocation of marks or grades that helps the teacher make decisions about the
So kung sa summative assessment kasi, usually, yung teacher talaga magbibigay ng grade sa huli. Sa ano kasi, even private and public school, gumagamit sila ng e-learning, e-class record. So doon ko i-base yung mga ipapasa ng mga bata para mag-review sila ng grade. So kung yung bata hindi nagpapasa, thank you so much. So hindi papasa. Ganun po yun. Next! Yes, thank you. So for the last one, Miguel, can you read?
Application of the fundamental components to other curriculum designs. While our exam refers only to designing a lesson plan which is a mini curriculum, similar components will also be used in making a syllabus for teaching in higher education courses or other curriculum projects. Based on the curriculum models, we have learned the fundamental components include the following major components of a course design for syllables. Number one, syllables. Number one, intended outcomes or objectives. Number two, content, subject matter with references, methods and strategies with needed resources, and last one is evaluation means of assessment.
Okay, so dito, yung ginawa natin ng example design, lesson plan siya. Mini curriculum ang tawag sa kanila. Sa atin kasi lesson plan. Siguro mas kilala natin siya sa tawag ng lesson plan. Number 8. Tama po ba? So dito daw meron siyang major components. Ito nga yung 4. So sa intended outcomes, kailangan mo ng yung objective to. Kung ano yung gusto mo, ma-attain ng bata or ma-achieve ng bata after ng lesson mo. So yung content, subject matter, kailangan daw pag gagamit ka ng isang reference or isang lesson mo, kailangan yung reference ka tulad ng books. Di ba sa ibang references kung magamit natin ng YouTube,
Link.
videos, para mas mapadali yung pag-intindi ng mga bata.
Yes.
Okay? Tapos, methods or strategies with needed resources. Bakit with needed resources? Kung meron ka bang laptop, magagamit mo yung PowerPoint mo. Siyempre hindi. So, kailangan mo ng resources. Get ang visual aids.
Yes.
Laptop, PowerPoint. Yun po yung mga ginagamit natin. Yun yung methods or strategies na kailangan natin na kasama. Meron ka naman naisip na strategy, pero wala ka naman gagamitin laptop. So, hindi mo rin magagamit yung PowerPoint na, pinipre mo. Okay, evaluation. Means of assessment. Sa assessment talo na lahat pwede magamit. Performance task, pen and
Paper.
Ano pa? Marami, di ba? Lalo na ngayong 21st century. Marami sa internet ang pwede natin magamit na method or applications. Okay, for today, thank you so much